Nobody laughed like Ron, and nobody cracked Ron up like Ron. His whole body would convulse, he would double over, his eyes would water, and his face would contort into what was almost an expression of agony, gasping for air. It was all-consuming, and it was highly contagious, and we would shake and squeak and cackle like two gargoyles at some off-color, non-PC bon mot one of us had made. Usually there was a cigarette in one hand, and often, depending on the hour, either a very dirty Sky martini with extra olives or a snifter of Grand Marnier heated over a candle in the other. 1987. Carol Gould introduced me to Ron at Theater in the Woods. Be quiet, Carl Cooper. When he was directing Irma la Douce, and I literally sat at his feet listening to stories going back, at that time, 30-plus years. I was an instant disciple. I gave up traveling to work on that show, and it was the start of a 20-plus year friendship. What 19-year-old already in love with the theater wouldn't be utterly bewitched by Ron Spencer? He taught me so much about the art of theater, about the brass tacks of theater, about the business of theater. I trained under his tutelage in acting, directing, producing, set building, marketing, toilet scrubbing. He was wickedly clever, he was fiercely loyal, and he was incredibly loving. His lifetime of dogs reflected the love he had to give that humans didn't always merit. Tootie, Hannibal. Miney, pre-Potter Hermione. Katie, Yoda, and all the rest, each one believed she or he was his favorite. Because Ron was love. No matter how frustrating or seemingly insurmountable a situation was, Ron invariably approached it from a place of love for and absolute belief in that whatever he was doing was right, even if it didn't always appear that way to the casual observer. They usually came around, either from being shown or browbeaten, and he was usually right. When he pitched directing 9 at Buck Creek in 1988, his budget was almost $1,000 more than his rivals because he wanted the 25 or so women in gowns. He mounted Forbidden Encore 2 to raise the funds, and I was invited into that circle to help write the songs. Hilarious. I was in hospital with pneumonia from driving back and forth to Bloomington in a car with no heat for rehearsals, and building and grouting and painting the set, and I was so hurt that he'd blocked me out of a number. He quietly made it up by letting me be the first to enter at the top of the grand stairs in the white dress. The effect was almost nightly gasps, and I loved that moment and him for gifting it to me. When he conceived of Theater on the Square, his goals became our goals. I remember his mom unbending nails for reuse. Waste not, want not. I remember sweet Aunt Madeline lining them up on the window seat. I remember Ollie cracking jokes, Cheryl gathering measurements, and all the wonderful creative people who descended to be even a small part of Ron's dream. A chorus line was a triumph, and even through lean years, Tots held its niche as a leader in breakthrough theater in the city. Throughout the years, I wrote grants, speeches, brochures, press releases, program content, arranged interviews and visits, and got international coverage for Southern Baptist Sissies by scoring an interview with Del Shores and sending the press release to every even remotely relevant email address I could find. We worked together, played together, cried together. For many years, we were yin and yang. I would have done anything for Ron, and I did, including swiping a piece of furniture from my parents' house when they were out of town to decorate a set. He painted it Pepto-Bismol pink. My mother was not pleased, but they dug Ron so much, they forgave. My family loved him. He flirted with my grandmother, joked with my mom, and genuinely impressed my father on several levels. Ron was one of the few non-familial men my dad hugged openly and joyfully. I have so many memories bouncing around in my brain, surprising Ron and Steve one year with a Christmas tree I bought for $5 and stuffed into my tiny hatchback on the way out of Bloomington, camping at Turkey Run, two-stepping. As soon as the first strains of Little Bitty Pissant Country Place played, we would seek each other out and he would whip me around the floor for the full 5 minutes so fast I felt like I was floating. After I moved to NYC, I continued to create material for Tots, and every trip home involved at least one night at the theater, usually with the entire family. Spider-Woman was our last full project together, and I'm so happy I took the time off to come back to Indianapolis for it. That experience is a novel in itself, but in true Spencer form ended in triumph. We spoke regularly throughout the week, but Sunday was coffee clatch, a 2-hour tete-a-tete where tea was also spilled and the dish was decadent. We solved all the problems of the world before heading out into it. We fell out, but I never fell out of love. I'm still in shock over his no longer being on the planet, so I hope this swirling word salad made some sense. See you on the other side, friend. All my love, always. Margo.